There's a Carter Creek shelter. There's a privy behind it. And I was up here, there was a tent here, and there's tents all down through there. And I seen somebody heading up this way. And we're on a trail. A light blaze. Going uphill, imagine that. So I think after looking at the maps yesterday, it's 10.6 to Winding Stair Gap. So I'm easily up early enough to put a 10-mile day in. Depends on the terrain, elevation, and when it finally decides to warm up. We're on the shadow side of the mountain. So we get in the sun, be stripping off some layers. But that would make me maybe like a 16. So if I did 12, it'd be a 4-mile day. Usually can't check in until 2. I could get into town, do some resupply, and then check in. So we'll see. Carry on up the trail. So, good morning. No, I usually don't turn the camera this way too often. But just passed a gentleman who thought he might be allergic to his down puffy jacket. So we talked about getting synthetic and whatnot. And I was thinking about like what we start out with in the morning. And then putting my puffy on and wearing that, sometimes even under this rain jacket or shell to keep it warm, to keep me warm. But in the 100-300 yards, quarter mile that you get up a hill, you start sweating. So you gotta take it off anyways. So my go-to has been to put on my t-shirt, my button up, and then my 250 weight Merriwool zip up, and then the shell. Usually what happens, and then I have lightweight gloves and the buff and a hat. So they come off periodically. Usually the hat will come off first, gloves on and off as needed. And then when it's time, usually at the top or when I start working up a sweat, I'll take off the shell and stow that away. So then it's the hat, the zip up, gloves on and off again as needed. As the day progressively gets warmer, I'll take that zip up, stow that away. So now I have my button up, my t-shirt, gloves. Usually the buff comes off. And I'll put my gloves on and off as needed. They just kind of help keep my hands warm. But then when I get sweaty, my hands sweat and the grips of my trekking poles, or just in general, I don't want to get them wet because I wear them a lot. So I usually put them away with my buff in my hip belt pocket. So I'm just getting used to how to manage cold weather. I think today and maybe even tomorrow, 50s, 60s, definitely 70s by Thursday. When I plan on being off trail, I kind of, I don't know, timed it a little off. The rain's supposed to be Thursday night and Friday morning. So don't want to get wet. But if it's warm, I guess it won't be as bad. So anyways, we'll have a whole new set of weather patterns to get used to. You're gonna sweat no matter what, but Bolu, one of the trail angels I ran into, said that was kind of the hardest adjustment he had to make to, was like just the heat. He didn't leave till April, so I'll escape a little bit of that. But got a little rock scramble coming up, so I'm gonna let you go. Talk to you about my clothes later. So we're coming up on the sunny side of the mountain, which means it's almost time to shed some layers. All right, right, shed some layers. I kind of turned back this way to put my bag down against the hill. And sometimes you just don't realize what's around you, you know, so it's good to stop and take a look. So got some layers off and ready to hit the trail again next time. So that was my first day at a shelter. Not that I even stayed in the shelter, but near a shelter. I haven't done that yet, and I think I'd prefer not to in the future as well. Just a lot of people, too people-y, as some of the Appalachian people would say. It's too people-y down in town, and it's too people-y at shelters for me. I kind of prefer to find a tent site or a campsite that's vacant where I can set up, have my first pick of spots. I did give up a spot to Foxtrot yesterday. It was nice and flat. She's a duplex, and haven't figured out if she really cares for my company or not. We kind of leapfrogged each other a couple of times, and I was exhausted. She talked about going to the shelter, and I kind of lost track of her for a minute. Next thing you know, we both show up there, and there's a bazillion people there. And I knew she couldn't find a site down at the tent site because there's none left. So I booked it up to the shelter and found the best one. And she eyeballed the same one, and I asked her if she wanted it, and she asked, "Are you sure?" And I said, "If you ask me again, the answer is going to be no." So she took it, and I went up the hill a little bit and camped up there. So I think I showed you those two spots next to the shelter. But there's a privy there. It means everybody's using that. Fire pit, everybody's congregating around that. You know, so it was just a lot more stimuli than I needed or wanted. But at the end of the day, a long hike, you don't really care, I guess. So I just sat next to my tent, made my dinner, which was not great. So I've been experimenting with the rice-a-roni meals, or whatever they are. It's rice in a box, I guess. And I threw some buffalo chicken packet in there. Problem is that rice, whatever it is, takes forever to soften. And I reheated my meal probably 4 different times, and ate some crunchy rice and buffalo chicken last night. And put the rest in my bag, back in my bag. I'll reheat it today. So here's a recap of last night. It's hard to walk past a path like this and not think of what's the view like. Not much, man. What's the view like down this path? Wow. That's pretty amazing.
It's so quiet.
So up ahead of me there's Globetrotter, he said. He asked me what my name was. I said Remy. So you haven't got one yet? I said no, and I explained why I took that name. He's saying he lived in 11 different countries. That was pretty cool. So we did some slack packing. I ran into him the other day. He was staying at one of the hostels that kind of took him back and forth between gaps. But anyway, I just stopped at this last water source for water and to see if I could rehydrate or warm up my dinner from last night, which was the rice. And I thought by now, thought it'd moisten up and soften. Heated some, I don't know, about a cup of water. Poured that in there, heated up, stirred it up, let it sit for 5 minutes or more. Still crunchy as all hell. So what I ended up doing was just drinking all the broth off of it. We'll try it again later tonight. I don't know. I might have to just toss it. The last one turned out really well. I had rice and broccoli, and I put a chicken packet in it. So still experimenting with foods. This is the hike today. I was just stopped for a minute because I thought there was an animal come down the hill, and it was just a big ice cube. Still cold up here. Try not to think about it, but I know that there's not much holding us up right now. There's definitely cliffs right below this, and there's ice falling as we speak. It's gonna be nasty once it starts getting hot. Pretty amazing view though. Spring's coming. So I've been trying to put in about 10-mile days. I know I did definitely more than 10 yesterday, probably around 12 to 14. I'm definitely going to be in Franklin by Wednesday. It's a matter of putting in, I think, 14 miles, 16 miles, I think I said at the beginning of this. I'm looking at the elevation though right now, because there's stairs that go up that way, and look at that up there. I don't know if you guys can see through the trees. There's a fire tower up there. So maybe we get to see a view from that today. I don't know. My body can handle it. All right, I'll let you guys know. This makes for an interesting climb. I wonder how many people do this part and then quit, or get halfway up this and say, "Not that's me, it's not me." But man, this is not for the faint-hearted. It's not easy, and there's a lot of people I saw or have seen in between here and Springer, or even base camp, that, man, they couldn't handle this one day, and their best day, as far as I'm concerned. You know, in my personal opinion, but hike your own hike, hike your own hike. Wonder if that's Franklin, North Carolina. It's a hell of a climb. We're still not done yet. We're still going up. I had to make sure that the GoPro was still charged, so I had to get my battery pack out and put that in my front pocket, hook up the GoPro. I wanted to make sure I had a opportunity to film this up here, and just above the tree line there's your fire tower. So we're gonna see if we can get up there. I don't want to do too many stairs, so we'll see if it's even open and whether I feel like going up there or not. I can't imagine the view being much different, but being able to see behind me, maybe 360. So I don't know if it's open. The deck up there is closed. You could certainly go up the stairs and check out the view from the landings on the stairs, but my knees aren't interested in stairs. There's enough hiking to go on, and I've already got a nice view. Little Tennessee River. Definitely see 360 up there. Onward down the trail. Hopefully not down too fast. So it is 11:50, March 21st, and I just passed another thru hiker that had stopped and made the 100-mile marker. So it was 100 miles on trail. If you didn't do the approach trail, just hit that. I did the part of the approach trail, 7.5 of that from the lodge, and I hit that last night when I went to sleep at whatever Creek Gap Lodge. We were just at their shelter. So onward and upward. I'll probably post maybe 250 and then 500 and then 1,000. So those are some goals like I think I could make. Not looking at the maps or keeping track of them, but you know, those would be the milestones that I'll be looking forward to hitting. So I just sent a message to Jason. He was my last shuttle driver. He said that he knew somebody, Sherpa somebody, that could pick me up from Winding Stair Gap and take me into Franklin, but never text me the number. So I just tried to text him. Of course, I don't have any service. But hopefully when I do, I can turn my phone back on and that'll go through. I've already had a reservation set for the microtel in Franklin. I'm going to try to see if they have a shuttle service or a cab service or an Uber in Franklin, because I want to set up a massage. I looked up massage places in Franklin. Hopefully that's something I can set up, an hour massage, maybe on Wednesday on my zero. This part of the trail is just a stream or a creek or a creek, whatever you prefer. So it's kind of cool. Walk down the middle of the creek. So I just checked my maps, and winding stair gap where I'm supposed to be by tomorrow to get a ride into town to resupply is only 4.9 miles away. I didn't look at the elevation or anything. My assumption is that it's up another mountain and down another one, because we got Mooney Gap coming up and then winding stair gap, so I'm assuming there's a big up and down. I didn't look at it, but I'm not really interested in doing that today. And I don't have arrangements for tonight, so probably going to look for a place to set up camp for today. It's only like 1 or 2, but I made good miles the last 2 days. Great miles, actually, in my opinion. It's more than enough for me. I'll 5-mile hike out tomorrow, or less actually, when I find a spot, so I can get into town and take care of my body. I know I just got done saying that I didn't want to stay at a shelter anymore, but I think I'm done for today. Privy over there. Somebody's got a tarp and a tent set up down here. But this is a pretty nice, I think brand new shelter. So we're gonna hang out here for a while, dry it out. Get this over here. Danger on the trail, 3rd grade. Exploring things, roots and logs. Beware of black widow spiders. Stay on the trail. Temperature and weather. Rattlesnakes. Black bears. How bees can be dangerous. Beware of coyotes. Do not hike at night or in the dark. Pretty cool stuff from 3rd grade. Summit Charter School is a tuition-free public charter school located in the beautiful mountains of the Cashiers, North Carolina. Leave no trace principles. And then just relax tonight. Look at, I think there's a road right here. So this is, I think, Mooney Gap. I'll have to double check. But then we're probably up another hill, maybe that one on the other side, and then down winding stair gap, which is only like, it's got to be less than 3 miles now. So I'll have a nice zero and then get back on trail.